Hey folks, meteorologist Tyler Eliason here with an update on Tropical Storm Ian. Definitely getting more organized today, right? You can just look at the satellite imagery here and it's got the look. I mean, the last few days it was all kind of that northeasterly shear blowing in and kind of displacing a lot of the deeper convection away from the center of the storm. When that was the case, it's tough to get ramped up because you need the center of the storm to kind of be tucked underneath some of that deeper convection. All the deep shower and storm action is now closer to that center, and this thing is really going to get organized in a hurry. About 200 miles or so south of Jamaica as of the 5 o'clock advisory. Winds are still at 45, moving west at 16. There's a ridge to the north here, so it's kind of moving along the southern periphery of that ridge. As it gets along the left-hand side of that ridge, it will start that turn to the northwest and eventually north towards the western tip of Cuba. Strengthening not yet to take place. Organization has taken place, but strengthening is going to come and going to come in a big way. There is a lot of warm water here. The deepest, warmest water anywhere in the Atlantic Basin, for that matter, anywhere in the Western Hemisphere is all kind of right in here. So as this moves over that, an incredible amount of instability. It gets the thunderstorms really ramped up, allows the pressure to drop, and the wind speeds follow. So we're going to definitely see a hurricane, I think, by the end of the weekend. If not earlier, by mid-afternoon tomorrow, it could be a hurricane. And just strengthening from there, very likely, I think that this becomes a major hurricane at some point Monday into Tuesday. There's just not much working against it. No wind shear, very little land interaction other than maybe a little bit of western Cuba there, which is just a strip of land. And again, that very warm, deep water. So that is the takeaway for now as far as what you can really take to the bank. That is not going to change. It's going to ramp up and it's going to follow this track pretty closely over the next 2-3 days. It's beyond that where things get a bit more uncertain. That day 4, day 5 time frame, the cone spreads out. And as we go forward in time, the cone's going to shrink. The average forecast error, left or right, over the last 5 years when forecasting tropical systems at the National Hurricane Center is about 200 miles. So that's a big gap across that. But again, as we get more and more data in play, that all is going to go into the models and it's going to help produce a more reliable output. It's just too early at this point to say storm's going to go right here and we're going to have impacts here, here. All your counties are going to hit this. It's just not time to do that yet. So essentially everybody from the Panhandle down through Central Florida, even down into the Southwest Florida, needs to still be paying very close attention to this as it really gets going. The NOAA G4 jet will be out kind of sampling the atmosphere out ahead of the storm in the Gulf and the Western Caribbean. That is just as important as sampling the atmosphere within the storm that the hurricane hunters do, because again, it's going to help the model output become more and more reliable as we get more real-time data in that. There's also balloon launches going up frequently, all out ahead of this storm along the Gulf Coast down through Florida. Our National Weather Service here in Tampa Bay has been launching weather balloons more frequently. Here's the latest European and GFS run. You notice too, I'll go back for a second, show you that track one more time. You notice the track kind of got bumped to the west a little bit over the last 12 hours or so. With the 5 a.m. advisory, had a track, or at least the center of the track, kind of right in here, and progressively it's gotten a little bit further west throughout the day. You're not going to see big swipes with the track. The National Hurricane Center is not going to do that, but it will kind of follow along with data as it comes in. Okay, there's a hint to the west, there's a hint to the east, let's bump it a little bit. That's what will take place in the coming days. So the track not yet set in stone, but what has happened today, that track shift west, really because of what we've seen in model runs early this morning and this afternoon, both the GFS and the European shifting west from where they were previously. So up until this point, again, pretty good agreement the next 2-3 days. But after that, we start to get the disagreement. The GFS is almost going straight north. The Euro still has that hook to the east, but it's not as pronounced. And at this point, it kind of heads up towards Tampa Bay or maybe even a little bit further north. The GFS way further west, perhaps up into the Panhandle. And you look at the time frame there, that's Thursday evening. So still got to iron things out. These are one model run of the European and the GFS. So these are going to bounce back and forth. And again, as we get more and more data inputted into this, we're going to get more reliable output. You're really going to look at the ensemble models. Those still have the spread. So this is the GFS model that we just showed you in red, but run 30 different times with different variables kind of emphasized a little bit more and tweaked a little bit, just give slightly different outputs. There's still a big spread there. So just because you got one run of the GFS going here does not mean that's where it's going. It's the collection of all the models that we really try and look at. The European ensembles are fairly similar, but the clustering of them is certainly more focused over Florida rather than to the west and up into the northern Gulf Coast. Again, more data, more real-time data, all going to improve the model output, improve the forecasting. Got to tell you, I mean, I've seen a lot of comments today, yesterday, and the day before. Your neighborhood Facebook groups, I'm sure you've seen it. Somebody's posting, look at the GFS. It says it's coming here now. And, oh, look, now it's here. Just avoid that, because one model run is not going to tell you anything you need to know for preparation, making any official decisions or anything like that. It is the full suite of models. It is the ensembles, and they change run to run to run. And that is what we use to make a forecast. It is the forecast that you should pay attention to, not any one model run. So at this point, anywhere along the west coast of Florida, again, Mobile, Alabama, even all the way down into southwest Florida, need to really paying attention closely to this storm. Again, data is going to change. The official cone is going to bump a little bit day by day. And eventually we'll get to a point, probably 2.5 days out from a potential landfall somewhere, we can really focus in on that area and pinpoint specific impacts for, hey, what is going to happen in my town or my county. That's when that can really start to take place. So a lot of folks at the grocery store here in Tampa Bay getting ready today. That's good. Get the essentials. Try and take a deep breath. Relax. We're not there yet where this is definitive. It's coming here. It's coming here. It's coming here. It takes a little more time. So be patient. More data is going to come in. We'll keep you updated here at Fox 13 and on MyFoxHurricane.com. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll have another update hopefully later this evening after the 11 o'clock advisory comes in. More updates through the weekend into early next week. Stick with us. Thanks.